Hello everybody, welcome. So basically, in this wonderful tarot card reading that I'm going to tell you all is that it's going to be happening of how it goes. Now let's say that this might be a funny reading or a funny video, or it might be humorous, or it might make you laugh or sad or angry or whatever it is. So anyway, it's hard for people who are having disabilities and they are basically in poverty. Now, poverty is basically where you have no very much income, and you're basically, that's how it goes, right? So when you are in poverty, you're stuck in that line, right? You're stuck in the poverty slots, right? So in this wonderful tarot card reading, I'm going to tell you all is that this is going to happen in this situation, right? So it might happen to you, whether you have a disability or not. A disability is something that was not created, but the way how this have a disability, it basically does affect you, and it does affect your own body, your own sensitivity. That's how it goes. When you have a disability, it seems to be that there's something wrong with you, but when you gain, free money from the government or whatever it is, that's the way of how it goes. But the way of this is like that's how it is, right? So you have to understand that, but you have to believe in order to do that, right? So when you're stuck in poverty, I understand that it's gonna be very interesting indeed. But when you're stuck in poverty, it's a pain in the neck, right? It's a pain of how it goes when you're experiencing it, and it does happen, right? So whether it seems to be, but that's how it goes, right? So I'm gonna figure out what's going on in this situation, no matter what's going on in this entire outcome. But I'm going to figure this out. So this is the way how it goes, right? So let's say who's on the left side and who's on the right side of this equation, and knowing about it, what's going on this way. So here we go. So in this wonderful way about this whole entire reading, I'm telling you all, the devil is upright. There's obsessions, addictions, right? So you're being obsessed, you're being addictions because you want money, you want how things should be happening. You might be also in a Capricorn as an earth sign. So that's how it goes, right? So when you're stuck in that poverty, you're stuck in that position, right? Because you're having your violence, or you're feeling like where you're feeling all these emotions, right? That you're feeling, right? You're like angry, pissed off, mad, violence, saying bad language, whatever it is, because you know what's going on, right? It's affecting you. The Lovers is over. There's decisions, because you're making decisions, right? You want to make decisions about what's going on in your financial situation, right? That's how it goes. So you have to believe in it. You have to understand the way how you're going to do it in a wonderful feeling. It's like that's how it goes. So let me clarify this devil card. So the same thing goes over. You want to figure out about a career. Nine of Swords is no drama, but Queen of Pentacles over. You want to have independence, because you want to show your independence. You want to do things on your own. Same thing goes over. You're thinking about a career because you're focusing on it. So that's how it goes from this here and now, this situation. Whether you're stuck in a poverty situation, no matter if you have a disability or not, it all depends on how you're doing, right? That's how it goes. When you have a disability, it does affect your whole entire body, because that's how it goes. And when you have a disability, it's like there's not something that's wrong with you, but that's how it goes, right? That's how it seems to be, but that's how it goes. So you have to understand that, because when you focus on your career, if you're focused on another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, that's how it goes. If you're focusing about independence, you're focusing on generally your cards, right? That's how it goes. What's this service cards about? The Devil is upright. There's obsessions, addictions, and the Four of Swords. There's basically rest, because you're healing, because you're saying to yourself, well, I can't do this more, I quit. Well, you keep going with it. You keep about drawing your own point, because if you're stuck in poverty, if you pay attention about why you're feeling it, that's how it goes, right? It's like that's what it seems to be, right? So you understand what's happening in this wonderful situation, no matter how it goes in this situation, right? You need to prove your point about what's going on, right? So you have to understand that, but when you're in the way of this whole entire situation, that's how it goes. So what's this Queen of Swords about? For one story, there's basically celebration, because you want to celebrate, right? That's how it goes. What's between this Four of Swords and this Devil here? Two of Cups, sorry, there's relationships. So it's basically relationships and friendships. Maybe it could be because you're focusing about what's going on in this here and now of this situation. No matter how you're going through a different way of knowing what to do. So when you're in stuck of this whole entire poverty, you're stuck in that situation, right? This is how it goes. So let's see what's this 4 of Wands about. Five of Cups, sorry, there's grief. And the Nine of Cups, sorry, there's romance. Yeah, because you're saying to yourself, it's like, well, I'm grieving because, you need your money and all that stuff. If you have the Nine of Cups, it's like you want romance because that's how it goes in that way, because you have to feel like that. That's how it goes. This is the way of how you're going to do it in that way, whether you're focused on that, right? That's all it seems to be. So you understand that, because that's how it goes. You have to pay attention whether you're feeling it's a different perspective. That's how it goes in that way, because you're focusing on that. You're focusing about the here and now of this situation, no matter how it goes. What's two cards for this situation? Six of Swords, there's movement. Seven of Swords, there's no deceit. And Eight of Swords, there's anxiety. Yeah, because you're feeling sad, you're whimpering, because you know what to do. You need to be who you are. It's like, this is like a live life crisis. And when it is, that's how it goes in that way. It's like, you need to focus on the here and now of the situation, no matter if you're stuck in poverty or not. That's how it goes. So you understand that. That's how it seems to be. What's between this 5 of Cups and this 9 of Cups? The Love Spheres, there's no decisions, right? That's how it goes. What's between this 8 of Swords and this 6 of Swords? The World is over, there's completion. So, let's see what's this Lovers card about. Star is over, there's separation. Tower is over, there's transformation. Yeah, because everything's changing, right? Everything's transforming, that's how it goes. The Star is over, there's inspiration, because that's the way it works. It's like, that's how it goes. Because integrity and self-respect, that's how it is in that way, whether you go with the flow, right? That's how it goes. So when you're stuck in that poverty line or whatever it is, that's how it seems to be. You feeling about it in that way. It's like, okay, well, this is what happens. I don't want to do this, in this daily routine, but that's how it goes. It's like you're basically having your own, wishing upon a star because you want money. You want things to happen all at once, because that's how it goes, right? What's this world card about? The Sun card reverse is negativity. The Fool reverse is no change. The reverse is no obsessions. Wheel of Fortune reverse, you're having bad luck. Yeah, because it's like you're focusing about having negativity and having bad luck at the same time, because it's like you're worried about your finances. You're thinking about you're going to be stuck in more poverty a little bit longer, because that's how it goes. Things are not going as planned, because it's like, why you're saying, why me? I don't want to do this more. I quit. Well, you have to keep going with it. You have to go with it long, right? That's how it goes. What's between this star and this tower? The world reverse, there's an incompletion. So between having completion and having incomplete, that's how it goes. What's between this Wheel of Fortune here? Wheel of Fortune's over, you're going to have good luck. The Strength card is over, you want bravery. Yeah, because you need to be brave. You need to be who you are, because that's how it goes. You might be dealing with a Leo as a fire sign, because that's how it goes in that way, because you're focused on that. You need to focus on the here and now of the situation, no matter how it looks like, right? That's why it seems to be that. So when you focus on that, you focus about your own experiences from the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But you take a risk. You take about what's going on in that way, whether you like it or not, whether you have based it on how you're feeling in that way, and thinking, well, if I'm going to be staying, positive, I'm going to look at the, how I'm going to have good luck on my side, and I'm being brave. That's how it goes, because you're looking at it in different perspective. That's all you can do. The world reverse is incompletion. The theory is separate, there's progress. Just yours is not telling truth. You're lying about something, right? You're lying about your finances. You're lying about, what's going on, because when you're lying, it's like, well, someone is not helping you with your finances, right? You're stuck in that poverty line. You're stuck about, why you're taking this long, right? It's the way of how it goes. So you have to see it in a wonderful feeling. So let me clarify this Justice card. The Terrence is over, there's healing. Yeah, because it's based on that. It's like you're healing about what's happening in the situation, no matter how you're going through, right? It's the way of how it is. It's the way of how you're going to experience and about the head-on of this situation, right? So like, this is not like a head-on collision, but the way of this is on how you're feeling in that way, whether if you're in poverty or you're stuck in it, because that's how it goes. What's waiting in this middle of the situation here? The Seven of Wands here says no, you're feeling deceit because you're feeling resilience, right? That's how it goes. So you're not feeling resilience because about how it goes. So let me clarify that. Let's see. The Queen of Cups here, there's no empathy. Chariot, there's no progress. The Eight of Cups, there's entertainment. Yeah, because you want to be entertained, right? You want to see things in different perspective. You want to see things into a different route, because that's how it goes. You need to understand that when you're stuck in this poverty mode, that's the way it seems to be, right? It's the way of how you can look at it into a different perspective. So let's see on the left side, please. The Knight of Wands, so there's immaturity, right? Someone's actually being immaturity because, yes, they can be thinking about wanting your money or whatever it is because they are trying not to take advantage of you. Because when they are stuck in that poverty line, they're stuck in it, right? They want saying, well, I need help, I need this, I need that, but then they're controlling you. They're controlling about your finances. They're controlling about what's going on this way, whether you're stuck in poverty, whether you have a disability or not. It all depends on you. It all depends about how you're feeling in that way. What's the Eight of Cups about? Eight of Pentacles here says no perfection, right? Everything is not perfect. What's between this Wheel of Fortune and Strength card? Knight of Pentacles here says no trust, right? So you have a different situation on this because that's the way of how it kind of goes in this way. So let me clarify this Knight of Wands here. So let's see. So you have the 10 of Pentacles, so that you want wealth. 2 of Wands here says no planning. Those here says no decisions. The Emperor here says no structure. The King of Swords here, there's knowledge. Yeah, because you're basically having knowledge because you want money, you want wealth, you want to be having your own plan. That's how it goes. You have to decide of what you're going to be doing in that way. It's like, okay, well, I need to do it. Yes, this is not going to be this is how it is, right? This is not going to be how, basically contents of this situation, because that's how it goes, right? So that's how it seems to be. So you might be dealing with a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. You might deal with a Gemini, Aquarius. That's how it goes in that way, because you're looking at it into a different perspective. What's this Eight of Pentacles about? Eight of Swords, or there's anxiety. Yeah, because you're feeling sad. You know what's going on, because when you're feeling sad, you want your money back, or you want things to happen all at once. But the way all this is, whether it seems to be bad or not, it depends on how you're doing. It depends about how you're focusing about being in poverty, whether you're not working, whether you're having no job, whether you see it in a different perspective. That's how it goes, right? You see it as a different way, because the way how this is, if you're stuck in poverty, you know about the Eight of Swords is upright for anxiety because you're feeling sad. You're whimpering because you want things to happen. You want to persist of what you're doing in that way, right? You want to be having your own reimbursement of being, want your money back. That's what reimbursement means. But the way of this is, you need to focus on that. You need to focus about the here and now of the situation, no matter how it goes. What is this Knight of Pentacles about? The Fool of yours, there's no change. Wheel of Fortune yours, you're having bad luck, right? And then the Queen of Cups, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's two sides to the story here. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense. So you decide. Because the way of this is, if you're focusing about having your own momentum, your own society, you need to look at it into a different perspective. That's the way it goes. It's like you have to believe that, oh, well, everything's going to be fine. All right, I'm going to take it. Yes, but, nonetheless, that you need to see it in a different perspective, right? It's the way of how it goes. It's the way of how your own way about knowing to do. It's like, that's how it goes. So, it's between this 10 Pentacles and this King of Swords. The Sun card is however, there's positivity. So you're in between. You're between about having positive because you're looking at into a different perspective. When you look at things in a different perspective, that's all you can do. You take a risk. You take it as a wonderful feeling because you're not taking it as a grain of salt or a grain of pepper or whatever it is. You're taking it as a way of knowing what to do. So if you're stuck in poverty, if you're stuck on how you're feeling, that's how it goes. You have to believe that everything's going to be happening all at once because that's how it goes. What does it say it starts about? The judgment is that you're taking action. If you're taking action, you know how it goes in that way. Whether you know it, whether you behave it, whether you understand it, that's how it goes. And when you believe it, that's the way things be. You know what's going to be, you know what's right, what's wrong, that's how it goes. And when you look at it, you look at it in a different perspective, that's all you can do. Because you take a risk. You take it out as a wonderful feeling and saying, well, this is the way it happens. What's this Queen Cups about? The devil reverse, there's no obsessions. So, that's how it goes. So let me see what's this Sun card about. The Strength card reverse is no bravery, just reverse is not telling the truth. Right? Because you're lying about something, right? So whether you are acting to be Pinocchio, right? Remember what I said. When you're acting like to be Pinocchio and your long nose is getting longer, it means that you're basically being Pinocchio. Because you're lying. If you keep lying, things are not going as planned, right? That's how it kind of goes. So let me clarify this Justice card. The Empress said, there's nourishment. Yeah, because you're being nourished, right? It's like you're being nourished by someone else because that's how it goes. It's like you're being nourished because things are really happening at once, right? It's the way how it looks. So in dignity, you believe that how it goes. You have to understand that. So let me see what's this Judgment about. The Hermit is over their solitude. So you're in between having solitude. You're in this hermit mode. When you're in hermit mode, you want things to happen all at once because that's how it goes. You believe in whatever you do because that's how it goes. You see it as a different perspective. That's the way it goes. So you see it as a wonderful feeling. That's the way it seems to be. What's this Devil card about? The Star is ever there's inspiration. The Tower reverse there's no transformation. The Magician is ever you want skill. That's how it goes, right? So you see it as a different perspective. You see things in a different way about knowing what to do. So what's this Hermit card about? The Emperor reverse there's no structure. The Strength card is separate there's bravery. Yeah, because you want to be brave, you want to do things, you want to know what's going on, what's right, what's wrong, that's how it goes. This is the way it works. This is the way of how you're going to do it. It's like you're not playing mind games, you're not playing anything. But the way all this is, you need to understand that, right? It's the way of how it is. It's the way of how life works, right? That's how it goes. So when you have your own life, as the way how it goes, you look at it in a different perspective. That's the way how it works. And when you do it, it's like this is how it kind of remains, because in that way, right? So you get to the point. You get to the point of how you're feeling in that way. So let me explain this Magician, this Star card. Magician is right, you want skill. So you want things to happen all at once because you want things to look at it from the up above and beyond, right? That's how it goes. It's the way of how it works. This is how it seems to be because you look at it in different perspective. Because you think that everything's fine, everything's happening all once, all right. But the way how this is, you have to continue it because that's how it goes. So you see it as a different way, as a wonderful feeling because you think that everything seems to be fine. So if you look at it in a different perspective, that's the way how it works. What's this Empress card about? The Judgment is where you're taking action, right? So that's how it goes. What's the Strength card about? The Six of Pentacles here says no kindness, right? Because you're being unkind. And what's this Magician about? Six of Cups here says no past. Alright, so what's this Judgment about? 10 Cups here says no incompletion. 3 of Pentacles here says no excitement. King Cups here says no support. Ace of Cups here there's satisfaction about romance, love, and everything else because you want to be like that. You want to be serious because you believe that you want to take a chance. You want to believe, you want to behave. But when you have no support whatsoever, someone's not going to help you with your finances. Someone's going to be unsupportive because all they care about is the money, money, money. That's all they care about. So, Whether if you feel like you need to understand that, whether you're going to protect your finances, whatever it is, you have to pay attention to it, because that's how it kind of unfolds. So what's this suspense about? For one, there's celebration, because you want to celebrate. You want to be celebrating because that's how it goes. You want to look at into a different perspective. So when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, everything's going to be fine and dandy, yes. But you have to improve yourself wisely to get a better view, right? That's how it works. Because in dignity, you have your own self-respect, because that's how it works. What's this Ace of Cups about? King of Pentacles already wants prosperity. The Two of Pentacles here, you're not balancing two things at once. Seven of Swords here, you're not feeling deceit. Now One of Swords, there's no fear. Strength here, there's bravery. Yeah, because that's how it goes. So you see it as a different way, a different perspective, because in that way you think that, everything's fine, yes, but in that way it's right. It's like, why, right? So when you look at it in a different perspective, that's how it goes in that way, right? That's how it is, right? So you see it in a different way, and you know how it kind of is in this moment, because it's just how it is, right? So you see it as wonderful feeling, right? You know what's right, what's wrong, and you have to make a choice, right? So you believe on what you believe, right? So you see it as a wonderful feeling, because you have to know from your own background story, right? That's how it goes. So I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. Ace One Sword, there's new beginnings. King One Sword, there's basically leadership. Empress Sword, there's nourishment. Two Pentacles Sword, you're balancing two things at once, right? That's how it goes. So basically you're saying that you're unbalanced, but then you're balanced, right? That's how it goes. So you see it, right? You're teetering, right? That's how it goes. And because you see it as a wonderful feeling, because that's how it goes. What's between the middle and the left side? Five of Cups here, there's no grief. 10 of the Swords here, there's no conclusions. 9 Pentacles here, there's comfortable. You're being comfortable. Yes, it is. Because you see it as a different perspective. Because when things are happening all at once, that's how it kind of is in that way, right? That's how it is. So let me clarify this 9 Pentacles here. Here from reverse, there's no guidance. 9 of Swords here, there's no trauma. 4 years, there's no change. 10 of Cups here, there's no delusion. 6 of Wands here, there's no celebration. Hammer years, there's no restrictions. King One Sword, there's charisma. That's how it goes, right? So you see it as a wonderful feeling. You know how it goes in that way because you think about it. You think about how your strengths, your weaknesses, your dignities, because that's how it goes. You want things to happen. What's the Two of Pentacles about? Magician years, there's no skill. Strength of years, you're being scared. And the Tower is over, there's transformation. Yeah, because everything's changing. You want things to happen all at once, because that's how it goes. You think that you need to take a risk. You take how you're going to process it, whether if you're feeling scared, because that's how it works. What's this Tower about? 10 Pentacles years, you already have a career. Judgment years, you're not taking action. 9 Pentacles are you want trust. Yeah, because you want to feel like you're going to have trust. So you have no trust, but then you feel like you're going to have trust. It does make sense, right? You have the ability to understand what you're going to be doing, because that's how it kind of, folds of this situation. What's the middle of the situation? The King of Pentacles here, there's no prosperity. Hermit years, you already have a soulmate. 4 Pentacles already, you want money. Yeah, you want to be the way how it is. You're not trying to say that you want to be stuck in poverty. You don't want to. But the way how this is, you're looking at it into a different perspective, in a different way, a different model, because that's how it goes. You think that everything's fine, but it's like, no, it's not. So you see it as a wonderful feeling, and you think that, oh, well, everything's fine, but it's like, no, it's not, right? So you see it as a wonderful feeling, right? It's like, why are you acting like this? Why are you, stuck in poverty? That's how it goes. So let me go from the middle to the right, middle to left. So 6 towards is no movement. 3 wands towards is no communication. 3 pentacles are there's excitement. 7 of pentacles towards there's no vision. 4 wands towards there's no celebration. 8 of swords towards there's anxiety. Yeah, because you're feeling sad. You're feeling sad because you have no communication whatsoever. Because that's how it goes. You're not communicating correctly because that's how it goes. You need to communicate. You need to believe that whatever happens, this is how it goes. Because that's how it seems to be. You know, that's how it works. What's between the middle and the left side, please? 5 pentacles, there's no insecurity. Lovers over there's decisions. 9 wands over there's immaturity. Yeah, because someone is actually being immature. Someone's actually being immature because that's how they are feeling. Because that's how it goes. When you're having immaturity, because you're being like, oh well, everything's fine. I'm not going to do it. Well, it is that. That's how it's going to be. So let me clarify this 9 wands here. 6 wands, there's no achievement. 3 swords, there's heartbreak. 5 wands, there's chaos, because that's how it goes. So, you are feeling like you're sad, you're having chaos, you want to make decisions, that's how it goes. Because things are going to be happening all once. That's how it goes. Because you need to believe it, you need to behave, you need to have your own self-respect. Because that's how it goes. Right? This is the way it happens. 8 wands, there's speed. So, the universe is saying whether you have speed, you need to carry on with it. Right? That's how it goes, right? So, you have to believe it, because in that way, I'm going to tell you something on my behalf, okay? You need to pay attention whether, if you have a disability and you have not very much money, let's say, for example, you're with a credit card or whatever it is, yes, the cost of living goes up, right? It's whether if you're in the United States or if you're in Canada, or where you are, okay? So my viewers who are out there and who are watching this video, please remember that when you have your own way about being in this financial fiasco situation, it means that you need to understand that if you're stuck in poverty, it's a pain in the butt, right? It's the way of how it is, because when you're stuck in poverty, you're into that line, you're into that slot, and when you're stuck in it, it's like that's how it goes. It's like you're not working, you're not participating, you're not whatever. And yes, the government is giving you free money, but it's just your money, right? So if you're stuck in into a bad position and you're stuck in it, that's how it goes, because you're stuck in that poverty slot, right? Yes, it's a pain in the neck. Yes, it's a pain in the behind, whatever it is. But you need to feel like, all disabilities from, whether you have a disability or not, and, all disabilities who are individual and they're between like United States, Canada, whatever it is, they basically feel the same way. They feel about, being stuck in poverty because they don't like it. They don't appreciate it. They don't, have their own details about it, right? That's how it goes. So when you're stuck in poverty, it's a pain, and that's how it goes. It's like that's how it seems to be. So you need to understand that, and that's how it goes. So before I let you all go, try to pay attention about this whole entire reading, because it does make sense, even if you have a disability or not. But it all depends on you. It all depends about your own financial situation, because that's how it goes. So you have to figure it out, because that's how it goes. There's always a time frame, and you understand that, right? That's how it goes. So you feel like it, right? That's what it seems to be. So you understand what's going on in that way, because that's how it goes. So I hope you all like this video. Please understand this. Please understand it, and that's how it goes. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time when I do. And when I do, that's just how it goes. So thank you so much, and have a nice day. Thank you. Bye for now, everybody. Thank you, and thanks, and bye.